title.
Cloud9 does not drop a single game in the playoffs. They are a team that works together and likes each other.
Wild Turtle! Angel, Turtle on the triple, Turtle on the quadra. Wild Turtle goes wild right there in that last fight, outplaying Cloud9 and carrying TSM to the championship.
Triple kill for Turtle, looking for the quadra, not gonna get it that time. It's a triple for double lift. He's looking for Bjergsen.
And the faithful shall be rewarded. COG take the inhibitor, they're gonna take the Nexus Turrets, and they're gonna take a trip to Worlds. He's trying to reset. He's going in for the reset. Yellowstar got another one. He's going. Stick save. They can go Astana. CLG proved you can change the players, but the faith remains.
Redemption down right. Dives back, give it a hold. Extends the TSM by tooth and nail to defend the North. But once again, NA/LCS champions.
They've all been to the final stage before, and now they'll be there victorious together as Team Liquid are your North American LCS Spring Split champions.
Okay, it's rap pack to my pulse flat. We keep it real, no false rap. I got 4 cars and they all black. Got 4 and they all that. We call that ballin'.
Hello, Oakland.
It's time to introduce the players looking to solidify themselves here and now in NA/LCS history. Wielding the 7-man roster, it's Cloud9.
I came from nothing to something like it's nothing. Yeah, you know I done it. That is no discussion. I'm ballin'.
The boss with the beard in the bot lane. On support, it's Zazel. In the jungle, 2018 Summers Rookie of the Split, it's Blabber. The Rock in the top lane, all split long, Licorice. Stepping up when his team needed him the most in the semi-final, Jungler Spin Scarin. NALCS All-Pro and voted best mid in the whole league, it's Jensen. Bringing his own firepower here to the mid lane, undefeated in NALCS playoffs and fighting for his own first title, Golden Glue. What's Cloud9 without its most veteran player? Looking to take back the title today, it's Sneaky.
They coming too, that's real, too real. Mother, tell me how you feel. I'm too good for my own good. I won't leak the album, I let it spill. Number 1, I bet it will. Do the numbers.
Returning to the finals to defend their title, it's Team Liquid.
I'm ballin', ballin'. I came from nothing to something like it's nothing. Yeah, you know I done it. That is no discussion. I'm ballin'.
Two-time NALCS champion in the mid lane, Pobelter. With 6 finals appearances across 3 different leagues. In support, Ole. World champion, looking to add yet another title to his serious collection. Top laner, Impact. With 11 splits in the North American LCS and 3 titles already claimed. Looking for that 4th here today, Jungler Xsmithy. All NALCS bot laner, your summer 2018 MVP, and one of the single most recognizable faces in League of Legends esports, Double Lift. Oakland, help me give it up one more time for Team Liquid and Cloud9.
Pushing themselves forward. Team Liquid will find themselves on the final stage in Oakland. They can end the game. I think C9 have done it.
Cloud9 from last place to the finals.
We running it up, step in the building, we turning it up. Talking it, but they never admit when I said to them like I be murdering it.
It's been 3 years now, and I still haven't won a trophy, and I feel like I'm so much better than this.
Both of us want it in equal amount, but our motivations are really different. I think if I win this one, then I'm at 5. To me, it's just trying to cement my legacy.
Cause I'm coming through with my whole team, they coming too, that's ballin'. I came from nothing to something like it's nothing, yeah, you know I done it, that is no discussion, but I'm ballin'.
Welcome back to the Oracle Arena. It is time for the finals of the North American LCS 2018 Summer Split. My name is David Freak Turley, bringing you the action alongside two excellent casters here, Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler, Isaac Azale Cummings Bentley. How you doing?
That opening ceremony was insane.
Yeah.
I am so hyped up, excited to be back in Oakland in the Bay Area to see the best teams in North America battle it out.
Absolutely. With players this good, it's only logical that your opening ceremony is as hyped as they are. You can see the lineup on your screen right now. Cloud9 bringing the 7-man roster in, but it is Blabber, the rookie jungler, Jensen, their long-standing mid laner, subbing in today. And then we'll see if they can show up, because they could not quite do that on the stage last week.
And what an insane story for Cloud9 this summer. Dropping all the way to 10th place in the league. Fans in an outrage over the substitutions of their players, and yet now proven the power of these rookies have taken them here to this big stage.
They have looked like the best team in the league, you know, since they have come back. They have been doing so well throughout the regular season and in the playoffs, looking quite strong here. And up against Team Liquid, it's going to be an incredible challenge.
Well, Team Liquid, of course, as we had been talking about in the pregame show, just a lot of veteranship on that squad. Doublelift looking for his 5th NALCS title. He would tie Bjergsen as the winningest North American player of all time. Xmithie is only one behind him, and that absolutely insane players on this roster.
All of them previous winners, and Impact as well, a previous Cloud9 member, so an extra added bit to that top lane matchup where Licorice, the replacement, has actually won Spring Split, Rookie of the Split, and come in as one of the most powerful top laners in the entire league.
And here we are, Champion Select has begun. Team Liquid are already qualified for Worlds. Cloud9, if they win the championship, of course, they go as well. 100 Thieves, Liquid's biggest fans right now would also take that berth, but right now it's about these two teams on stage, and well, there is that zillion man away from Jensen.
Yeah, and as you said, Jensen in, Blabber in. This is not the Golden Glue Svenskeren show, as a lot of people thought they may have been starting after their incredible performance in the semifinals. Cloud9 putting faith in Jensen, their veteran mid laner, and this rookie in Blabber, rookie of the split jungler.
And Reaper has shown that he's going to stick to his strategy. Start out with the Jensen and Blabber combination, but you best understand that they are very willing to sub in Golden Glue and Svenskeren at any moment, and that is going to keep Team Liquid on their toes. In the regular season, those two absolutely blasted Pobelter and Team Liquid. Already, though, we're into the pick ban phase, and it is going to be Doublelift on the Kai'Sa, the late game carry, and they will have that power for later.
And you can see the power of bringing in Jensen and Blabber reflected already in the pick ban, the Zillion Kindred ban, and nod to their strongest duo of champions that they have shown here in the summer split. That is going to free up Licorice to be able to grab the GP here.
Already, Cloud9 with a lot of confidence in Licorice. Their new top laner, giving him the ability to deal damage later in the game. Barrel chains can destroy Team Liquid's most valuable player there, and that is what he's going to be looking for.
And I also really like this here from TL. The Kai'Sa first pick secures some of that late game power here for Doublelift, and grabbing the Morgana is going to mean they'll have a favorable laning 2v2 here against Braum and really any other marksman. So Doublelift and Ole going to be playing for lane and looking to dominate that bot lane 2v2.
Sion into Gangplank. We did see the champion play it a little while ago, just yesterday. Can do okay in the lane. If you can force Licorice to recall before Sheen, that is actually really important.
Sion played a lot yesterday. Very effective. The later in the game, when your cooldown on your ultimate is very low, you can engage on multiple occasions and win the cooldown battle. Plus, we saw yesterday, as you're mentioning, Azel, this Morgana, game-winning bindings can be found. And this is what Olay is going to be looking for.
They definitely can, and one of the things I really like about the Sion pick here is this is not an Ornn where he is going to get bullied as hard in lane. Having the ultimate to work as almost a teleport back to lane allows, even if you get pushed out, you can get right back in there. GP shouldn't have such a 1v1 advantage.
And it is fitting into Team Liquid style. This is what everyone has come to know and expect from Team Liquid. Late game carry for Doublelift, strong front line tank for Impact. That has the ability to create room for him.
And I want to see if they can protect Doublelift. That Malzahar, of course, a very big pickup here for Jensen in the mid lane. It's not a Tom Kench where you can reactively save or akin to the same. You've got to predict with the Black Shield in order to stop that Nethergrass coming out. So timing going to be important. Olay's reflex is going to be important. And if Jensen can find an opening there, they can pick someone off.
I'm going to be really interested to see where Cloud9 goes with the pick here for Blabber. Also, are they going to run a very damage-heavy composition with no true front line? You know, pick a DPS jungler for themselves, because we already know Licorice isn't going to be on a tank on the top side, and you're not running something like a Galio in the mid lane, so they may be running a fairly fragile composition.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see, because Jensen, on the Malzahar, you do have very good gank setup, of course, with your ultimate as soon as you hit level 6. And those two guys have worked very well complementing each other. We know that Cloud9 kind of split the jungle and mid lane duos and had each of them practice specifically with each other to try and complement each other's strengths.
And you can see targeted bans again from Team Liquid. Sneaky's Quinn off the table despite not winning with it in the semifinal. Quinn gets locked in. A sneaky 80 carry for the Cloud9 bot laner himself. And this is, I think, the absolute king of late game team fighting. Kai'Sa is nice, but Twitch is a whole nother level.
Yeah, you said it, Freak. The late game for Twitch is monstrous, not to mention the ability to attack side lanes here. If we see TL going for a 1-3-1 style of game, Twitch can really throw a wrench in the gears for that. Being able to show up in stealth and assassinate people in those side lanes can make it really, really tough. But the early game, when you're in a rough 2v2 against a ranged support, and now with Olaf, an early aggressive jungler, could be really tough here for C9.
So much of Cloud9's ban pressure was put on the support pool of Olay and the mid laners of Pobelter. Olaf, a super highly prized jungler, gets through, goes on to Smithy, someone that is known as an excellent, incredibly good early game path jungler, on arguably the best early game jungle champion. It's going to be fun to watch as Ryze comes through for Pobelter.
Yeah, and especially with that Ryze, Pobelter can set up ganks for the Olaf to come through, can also help Olaf with invades to try and take over Cloud9's side. But the Hecarim is something that teams have been banning specifically against Cloud9 throughout playoffs, as we've heard a lot of stories about their scrims where Hecarim camping mid with the Ghost, coming through with a lot of early ganks, has been able to snowball those out of control.
Yeah, and we're going to get the Hecarim. Let's go. Game 1. Cloud9 pulling out some pretty spicy picks here. We're getting the Hecarim, and we're getting the Twitch.
Now, some things that have changed in the jungle to help Hecarim make a comeback were the addition of the extra mana regeneration from your talisman through the river. It's one of the most mana-intensive junglers, and that's why a lot of times they had a very slow start. However, that change, plus the celerity and a couple of the extra movement speed talents have been very big in bringing him back.
Going to be really interested to see what kind of a build he's going for here as well. If he wants to rush straight into a Triforce and go that really aggressive style, or if he's going to be playing something more like Cinderhulk CDR.
I think that he might want to be a little bit more tanky, just considering he is the only one that will be building
if they're dead, they can't hurt you, Kobe.
For this team. But yeah, all the stories we heard was that it was all about the early snowballing for Hecarim. So might want to get some early burst damage there, maybe one item, and then transition to be a little bit more tanky. One of the big things for Hecarim, once you put up your W, then you heal off of the damage that your team can do to enemy champion.
Well, he might just drain tank all of Team Liquid. We're about to head into game 1. Top laners, junglers, the whole roster about to be on your screen. Defending champions Team Liquid versus Cloud9 from zero, about to be hero. Let's get ourselves into game number 1.
right, Sneaky on the Twitch. This is the first Twitch we have had all split, and the last time it was picked was in week 4 of spring by Arrow. Let's see if he can bring it out here to success in the opening game of the finals.
And Ole 30 gold richer for the nice juke against Zeyzal.
And the real question here to me is how Sneaky and Zeyzal are going to be able to do in this 2v2 matchup. It's against a Morgana, it's against this Kai'Sa with the fleet footwork, and that is going to be tough for this lethal tempo Twitch to survive.
And I think it's very important that we're seeing an early invade here because, as I said, Hecarim is one of the most mana-intensive junglers. Securing blue buff is very important for this champion. You need to get your first clear off on Hecarim so that you can go back and buy the boots to use Predator for your first gank. It's very critical over the first 3 minutes for Blabber, and that's why they're trying to defend, but Team Liquid got a lot of good information there with the invade.
Looks like Blabber going to be starting red with the leash here, and we can see Jensen is going to be going Inspirational Secondary for the Time Warp Tonic, likely for Biscuits here as well to be able to sustain through any early pressure that the Ryze can put on. Because the early levels can be fairly tough for Malzahar in these matchups, but once you get a couple levels, once you get that Lost Chapter going, you really can wave clear almost infinitely.
All right, looks like Blabber is going to go over to the Krugs here. So much more golden experience in this small camp after the jungle adjustments. That might mean that we'll have some sort of confrontation over the Scuttle Crab, but Olaf likes to get low for the extra attack speed in his jungle, and will be able to secure the rest of his blue quadrant.
And Team Liquid should know the jungle pathing of Blabber here. There was a ward put over the Raptor pit. They knew he started red because of the leash from Gangplank, and they were aware that he hasn't gone to Raptors just yet. That camp is still there. So he's going to juke the camp entirely, but I think there's a pretty big expectation that it was Krugs at the bottom side.
Yeah, now he's going to have to go get some more mana for himself. Isn't going to go for either Scuttle. So Smithy, you can see on the mini-map, is already trying to take over top Scuttle, whereas Blabber is going to be on the bottom side. And we'll see if the duo lane for Team Liquid will secure the bottom Scuttle for Team Liquid to get both of them and secure the vision.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to do it. They have already grabbed that, so really nicely done here from TL in the early levels, using that Morgana Kai'Sa, pushing in. Morgana can remove the resistances from the Scuttle for an easy kill on the bottom side.
Yeah, able to push up Double Lift and Ole with some priority in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Smithy power clearing on the Olaf, going very efficiently, not much distance traveled between his camps, and he'll be able to end on Krugs on the bottom side.
Yeah, not much of a surprise that it's going to be a camp ahead. Again, what I mentioned, that TL dual lane grabbing an extra camp on top of that one, so certainly a stronger clear. The Raptors still waiting to be taken on that Cloud9 side. As you watch the bot lane, Ole taking a pretty big chunk, but there's no ward in that brush. We'll lose some health. Zeyzal's queue up in a little bit. Won't find the stun, though. And Team Liquid able to reset off this.
Yeah, and now we're going to see Blabber recall to get those boots for his Predator on Hecarim. This is where it starts to get scary. Once you have that possibility, then the mid laner also has to worry. So Poe Belter on the Ryze might need some extra vision for himself.
And you can see him playing towards the bottom side of that lane a little bit because he has more ward coverage down there. They have the Scuttle as well. Wants to protect himself from any potential ganks that would come in from the top side. And we know that Blabber will be going to those Raptors first or anything else.
Nice pick up there. Spowalter knocks down a couple of little Void Lings. We watch the top lane fight now as well as they trade grasp proc somewhat. Licorice so far not too heavily hurt in this lane. Should be able to pretty easily get himself to his Sheeman. And the flash Q's going to land in a double him. The flash chase. He might not have any way out. Is it enough damage as Sneaky fires back in a double him? And first blood goes to Cloud9.
Sneaky takes down the MVP in the first game of the finals here, and C9 will also be able to push out this lane. The Twitch pick will be set up for success.
So incredibly good here for C9. They have the losing 2v2, but as Ole goes back to base, they had chunked him out. They're able to find Double Lift with that Twitch stealth and take him down.
Smithy's going for the first gank here. Blabber is close behind, though, so they have to be careful about diving.
They find this low Predator pop. Pretty big damage there. The Q's not going to be enough, and he still chased it through. Smithy fires back in the top lane.
Immediately, Team Liquid answer, and Smithy actually gets to use his Predator first. Here's another look at how it all happened bottom lane. Zale, take us through it.
Yeah, run more time. Double Lift flashing, but the Q hits anyway. Zeyzal flashing directly on top of him. Double Lift unable to get out, and once you get connected with that stun, you are going down.
Big play there by Sneaky and Zazel, one of the rookies for Cloud9, coming up with the big play. Meanwhile, on the top side, the duo of veterans, Impact and Smithy, are able to take down Licorice.
Now, crucially for Licorice, though, he did have Sheen money by the time he died. That is an important power spec for the matchup, so he's going to feel a lot better with the Q spam. Has gone Klepto. That was partly part of the reason he has more money there, but maybe the durability would have been different when that gank came through. Sneaky takes some damage, they're going to be okay.
Also, Impact, true to his name, on the tank. Very good CS for himself early on versus Licorice on the gangplank here, but it looks like mid lane might be the area that Cloud9 want to focus on next, because the Malzahar has hit the all-important level 6 access to his ultimate, trying to hold Rise in place for the Hecarim to run through.
It's also worth mentioning that the Infernal is going to be a big ticket item here, especially for C9, because they're running such a heavy damage composition, would really get a lot out of that extra AD and AP, and Blabber down on the bottom side. If the bottom lane can get a kill or push up, there's potential to go for it.
Blabber right now, they're getting heavily out-farmed, about 3 to 4 camps behind. It's level 6 to level 5. Has not yet found a way to insinuate himself in this game. Doublelift getting a trade against Sneaky there. Good damage, though. That bind was pretty close as well.
Very close. If that one lands, the Doublelift can also get off another auto attack to proc his plasma and a huge chunk of damage. Smithy heads down to the bottom side, though, to lend some help in the vision control for Doublelift and Ole.
The first blood was also so big here for Sneaky because it allows him to get the early Vamp Scepter as well as the boots, sidestepping on those bindings and also lifestealing through any potential poke there from the Morgana. So a lot of that 2v2 advantage that TL drafted for is now gone.
We'll wait to see what happens, though, as a 500 gold lead for Team Liquid means an overall laning phase victory. That is jungle and top lane mostly. For now, Cloud9 are without summoners in the bottom lane, so a flash plate of Ole could be big. Smithy going towards the top side, gonna spot out Jensen. Now he knows he's around, but Blabber's coming up to the top side with Ghost on. It's a flashless Impact, goes unstoppable, and he cannot get in front of him. Blabber unable to force the one out as Impact gets back to safety.
Hecarim can run pretty fast, but not quick enough to get in front of the ultimate here. And Impact, that was very close, but he gets out alive.
Yeah, now it's going to be Blabber who's going to have to be careful as, Smithy is ahead in that farm, is level 6 here, and could be looking for a fight.
Plus, Hecarim without Ghost, or here we go, bottom.
Flash ult is in, the Ignite is there, the bound is binded, and that is a kill now. Doublelift gets his kill on the board.
Ole sets him up, hits the binding, and Team Liquid are able to get one back for themselves in the AD carry matchup, but this one won't just be a kill. Infernal Drake, as you stated earlier, will be a huge prize.
So goes bot lane, so goes the Dragon control here, and Ole making a big play. Sneaky without that flash from their 2v1 kill on Doublelift, gets nailed by the binding, and the all-in is completed straight into that Infernal.
Huge stuff now for TL. 700 gold lead plus the Infernal Drake. Double's gonna feel good on his 9 CS lead. He can recall for items when he wants to as waves get shoved in.
Really important deep ward there. That's why we always mention getting those deeper wards into the enemy jungle. Doublelift saw Blabber heading down on the Hecarim over that ward that they can see him now at his Gromp and give up that gank.
We have gotten some answers now. Blabber going towards that Cinderhulk as his first item. It's not going to be any solo queue style Triforce, a really aggressive build. But here it is one more time on the bottom side. Morgana in the brush, out of vision here from Sneaky, and finds the perfect opportunity. Flash alt binding point blank. Just perfectly done from Ole.
Yeah, brush control lost by C9. Not respecting the 6 Morgana. I think dinged while in fog. And that was a great pickup.
So much conversation for Team Liquid has also been around the bottom lane duo. And Doublelift working with Ole, their communication issues throughout the split. But they have definitely been working together very well in recent history. And it just goes to show right there, even though they got first blooded, they're able to pull off the play out of vision.
Nicely done there. Taking stock of the rest of the map. Mid lane basically equal. A quick silver sash rushed in for Poelter. He's not going to be threatened at all this game. We do finally have the ultimate available for Blabber's Hecarim as well. But his ganks so far have meant nothing. We'll see when he gets into the map.
You have to remember, though, even with that QSS, if Hecarim can get behind you, knock you back into a Malzahar ult, sure, you have QSS for that, but then straight into the Hecarim ulti for the Fear, or vice versa. There is potential to just burst him down.
Do think it is a really intelligent purchase there for Poelter, though. He's not going to be under any sort of solo kill pressure, and he could have the freedom now on Rise to be able to shove a lane and try and look for a Realm Warp play to help out the bottom lane.
TL, he Heard it in Doublelift's MVP speech. He said the team puts a lot of faith in him. They put the resources in him. They're happy to play around him. Doublelift has been their all-star, absolutely. The MVP of the league, and we'll see if that pressure does come down.
It's really worth noting, too, that it is the Klepto, as you pointed out earlier on the GP. We're so used to seeing Grasp now. You're not really accustomed to seeing that bank flank, and you do get a lot more gold. So despite the fact that Licorice is down on farm, he's going to be getting a lot from that Klepto, and we'll get to that Triforce at a pretty fast clip. Be ready for those team fights.
Already we're seeing Smithy work with Pobelter. Pobelter shoves the mid lane, rotates into the river with his jungler Predator Pop.
They're on the Rise ult on top. They can find Jensen. They're going to get the E, but no root coming across. Jensen stays alive, but burns his flash for it.
Yeah, good early flash there from Jensen. You don't want to take any damage because they might have a counterattack.
And they're looking for Smithy here. He's silenced, but of course he can turn unstoppable when he wants to. Turns bright red, walks right back out, stays alive.
Nicely traded back and forth there. Jensen does have to blow his flash, but they at least get the ultimate out of Smithy and could look to attack him. Nice binding, though, here from Olay.
Morgana has been one of Olay's longest champions that we have known him on, binding some very good bindings here on this big stage. And as you can see, Doublelift's Kai'Sa, pretty good stats for him as well this summer.
Yeah, I feel like the Doublelift average for any champion is something about 4-1, 5.7 KDA.
Yeah.
Kai'Sa's certainly, again, one of his good ones here. We'll see if he can rise that score throughout this game. 1,200 gold lead to Team Liquid, looking out the top lane.
And I'm expecting to see mostly just kind of utility style items here coming out of Impact. He's not building more for the 1v1. I don't expect to see anything like an Iceborne. Getting that Righteous Glory early on is just going to increase his ability to roam, increase his ability to look for those engages.
Yeah, one thing we had seen previously was, with the rise of the Glacial Augment Scion, when you completed the Righteous Glory, you would also lay a slow field on the ground afterwards. But this time around, he's stacking the extra health with the grass. Another rotation here through Pobelter and Smithy. They haven't cleared out the vision in the river, though. So Cloud9 should be safe, no problem.
And no issues down here. Mid lane CS still only off by 5. Like Smithy walks up, gets 2 good wards down inside that jungle. And they can track Blabbernex, and he goes to the right-hand side. That Hecarim actually quite low in durability, so if he does go for those Wolves, or the Gromp, I should say, as that one's up, he could be stabbed. But no, we'll go for the recall here. Cinder Hulk already done. We'll track those builds over time as the bot lane wave is shoved in one more time, and Doublelift should be very close to his first item spike as he rushes towards that Rage Blade.
Smithy once again looking on the bottom side, but I'm going to be interested to see how TL wants to play this out. Rise generally loves to be in those side lanes looking for more of a split push style of gameplay, but that is often very hard to do against Twitch. Anytime Twitch goes missing, it's so hard to push up knowing that he could be there in stealth.
Yeah, exactly, especially versus a Gangplank where you can have this global ultimate add to any sort of skirmishes. Gangplank and Twitch, if you haven't keep track of the Twitch, can pop out in any lane and combine for a very deadly gank.
We'll see if they can get out of lane what that play looks like. Right now, though, it is still Sneaky walking down to the bottom lane, playing very normal right now. Blabber spots a Ghost Portal, kills that one off. We'll run by a Control Ward now as well, and we'll take the detour to kill that. Now looking at the bottom lane, Double taking some shots right there. The bind only goes on the support. Doublelift can flash, Sneaky will not give chase.
Cloud9 trying to do some setup work here for the Dragon. It's 30 seconds ahead of the Dragon.
Blabber has found one. Ult comes across. Shoot by Doublelift. Absolutely beautiful.
Great use of the killer instinct here from Doublelift to dodge with the ultimate. Does get out alive, but still Cloud9 have the health advantage.
Yeah, they're pushing heavily on this bottom lane. You can see Smithy moving down, though. Olay trying to wave clear, so the turret should be safe for now.
But because they sent Doublelift back to base, they can't go for a kill here. They have to wait till he gets back, and he doesn't have an ultimate to join any fight.
Summoner TP available for everyone. Impact just now recalls to buy items, maybe in preparation for that fight.
And as you see Sneaky getting his ultimate back, they could look for another fight because there's no summoners, no ult on Doublelift, but look at this. The Black Shield was up, so he wouldn't have been feared, but he would have got taken down by the physical damage following that up. That was a sick ult there from Doublelift, but it is both summoners and his ultimate down.
A lot of skill expression you can see in the Kai'Sa ult placement. You don't have to just go right to the enemy champion. You can place it anywhere in the ring around that champion. You've even seen people use it to jump walls. But here, the prize after the play is Team Liquid collapsing on the Dragon, clearing out the vision, and they're able to stack it up. This is now 2 Drakes for Team Liquid.
And some of this, of course, is expected. We talked about it in Champion Select, the advantageous bot lane matchup, the advantageous jungle matchup as well. So some of this is what you sign up for with a Champ Select like this. The question is, does TL keep that pressure up well, or can Cloud9 find their way back into this one? The gold difference still only 700, certainly within reach. The Drake stacking up, but again, expected.
It'll be interesting to see where Sneaky wants to go on this recall. Likely going to have his Blade of the Rune King, and you do have very high assassination power coming out, revealing that Blade of the Rune King. His ultimate is back up. He could look for a roam play, but for now, looking like he's just going to head straight down to the bot. And TL going to grab another neutral objective, really full map control for them, and the game plan going very, very well.
Yeah, 100% control for Team Liquid with a neutral objective so far in this game. And now it's going to be about using that Rift Herald to get the first turret bonus. It's a very big gold bonus here still on the table for both teams if they can find an opening to use it and try and chain those towers down.
Once again, just a shove of waves back and forth. Jensen versus Pobelter was one on paper that should have been very Jensen-sided. Pobelter has always been a solid mid laner for local play, regional play, but never considered a true all-star here. But so far, keeping up completely with Jensen.
Top 10 mid laner for sure.
Yeah, top 10 for sure. Jensen, though, was the #1 voted this split and has not done really anything to build his own lead. As the mid lane Rift Herald gets summoned, that could be enough for the turret if they back it up at all.
Well, they actually back off of it as they saw Cloud9 coming up through the river with Jensen on the way. And while Malzahar isn't a 1v1 outplay champion, you have to respect it. Anytime he is moving around the map with the Hecarim, that ultimate, even with the QSS, is going to be very scary.
Yeah, and that's more what they're picking it for the team fighting, for the roaming and pick potential, rather than that 1v1 where Ryze can take out all your Voidlings with one E, can really kind of make it difficult to dominate in the 1v1, but Pobelter has done a good job so far, and he's also going to have his chances to roam with that Realm Warp, has level 2 on the ultimate now, and a lot better range.
I really do want to give a lot of credit to Smithy here as well. This guy, a veteran of the league, 3 championships to his name, constantly diligent in his vision work. He invaded once again on the Olaf, pulling down his control ward, taking down the Cloud9 vision around that low health tower to try and set up the play to get first turret bonus.
And Liquid's getting pushed around a little bit up on that top side of the map. You can see those fights continuing. The gold still staying close to 1,000 as the first item spike, of course, done for both bot lane AD carries, but AP Kai'Sa starting to come online as Double picks up the Stinger.
It's a fantastic early laning phase here for Impact, but once GP gets his Triforce, it generally feels very hard to bully from there. It becomes very easy for the GP to clear out those waves as seen, and it's going to be now up to Impact to try to get something from that pressure, either with roams to mid lane or further neutral objectives, that he can be the first man to the play.
And you can see the focus for Team Liquid is around the bottom half of the map. Doublelift was very thankful that his team will spend resources in this area, and every time we pan over Smithy, he's killing wards here.
Yeah.
He invades with Pobelter, he invades with Ole, always as a duo here, trying to be better safe than sorry.
I mean, Smithy has the highest vision score in the game, more than both supports. He's been absolutely omnipresent. Now mid lane under fire. That's going to be the first turret picked up to Pobelter and Smithy.
And not only has he been dominating in this vision game, he is up farm, he was involved in a kill, he has gotten a dragon or two, he's gotten the Rift Herald. Like, he's been everywhere and really, really impressing, I think, in the early minutes of this game.
A lot why this Olaf pick has been really highly prized. We saw it yesterday as well. The early game is a big area where he does shine, can clear quickly, and then have that time left over to do the vision game.
Well, next major objective up in 50 seconds as Baron Nash responds at that 20-minute mark. And wondering when that shift in priority goes away from Olaf and towards those Cloud9 members. For now, they'll still seem TL-sided. They put in some damage towards Blabber, has to kite back, stays alive.
Fight may continue. Pobelter seems like he wants this. We'll see if they commit to
range,
it.
forcing the flash out again of Jensen.
Yeah, Jensen knows he can't ult either of those targets. There's a QSS on Ryze, and Olaf can just use his own ultimate to cancel it out and run.
Plus, TL was roaming up their bot lane and really doing well, being aggressive around this side of the map. And it's worth pointing out, Impact is up over 3,800 health this early in the game, thanks to his W bonus for HP, as well as all the grass procs giving him extra health, and that Warmogs. And he is going to be so ridiculously hard for anyone to take down on early in the game.
Absolutely a massive tank up on the top side, and we have yet to see him join any team fights. I'm not sure if Sneaky can burn through that easily. Right now, only on the Ruin King. Not going to be so quick.
Yeah, especially early on in the game, before the resistance shredding has come into play, it can create a problem for the team fight. If this Scion, if Impact is in there in the front line at the center of the team fight and then gets back up as a zombie, you have to play around him. Pobelter goes top side though.
Getting up to the top side, Impact running forward with Righteous Glory. Cannot quite find the slow. Licorice knocked up but walks away. That turret under fire from some minions, but he's going to stay alive.
Impact even, itemizing kind of building more towards that with his W max here. He has 5 points in the W, did not elect to max out that E, so he's just going to be such a monster in these fights and really kind of finding his niche. You can make tanks work in these 1v1s, and I'm glad to see that he has picked up a sign. I think it's a great answer for the gang play.
Oh, bottom lane play in the works here for Cloud9.
Smithy on a control coming around. The rest of the team right around him. Sneaky finds a slow, swells the way, stays alive. Now looking back at Smithy, Blast Shield on pops the ulti as well. The anti-CC tools are down. They found Ole. That's one kill picked up. Now watch those teleports as they're going to be matched on both sides, canceled on both sides as well. C9 find that kill. They're going to push for bottom.
Yeah, misplay to put the spell immunity on Olaf, who can just pop his own ultimate. And in any case, they switch targets over to Ole. Now Cloud9 are going to take a turret for themselves.
And it brings the gold right back to equal, and in fact, a small lead for Cloud9. As you mentioned earlier, where the bot lane goes the Drake, and now C9 gonna get one of these on their side as well. How fitting, it's the Cloud.
Perfect for Hecarim. The extra speed translates into more damage for this champion as well. Even though he is going full tank, it is going to be a baseline of extra damage that helps with bursting down your priority target.
And here is our Acer Predator replay as we see this one more time. Blabber waiting in the wings. They see Smithy going in. They decide to commit for this fight and watch the critical black shield here, as you pointed out, Kobe.
Yeah, he puts it on Olaf early, but then Smithy, he already has his own ultimate, and they switch targets onto Ole. Good swap there from Cloud9 to change targets, grab the kill, and the teleports are then canceled, so that means the objective goes their way.
Also perfect layering of the ultimates there. Zazel, the knock up straight into the Hecarim Fear. That was clean calling there from Cloud9. But TL still looking very, very good. You can see Doublelift farming up. He's on those two items now on this Kai'Sa and is going AP.
And notable for Ole, he either chose to or failed to not flash when the Braum ulti came in. That's when you can typically react to on a ping environment like this one. And chose to keep onto that one. So now we look at the rest of this game. A 1,000 gold lead to Cloud9, starting to look alive. Spikes coming through. Leandri's Torment now done for Jensen on top of this. And Hurricane also for Sneaky is a very, very big deal. With his ult available, he's going to be a team fight monster. He has already eclipsed Doublelift damage.
Yeah, I love the Leandris here. Instead of what we've seen a lot is the Rylai's, because you're against two big frontliners who are going to be stacking HP, and that Rylai's burn is really going to help, in addition to all the percentage HP damage that Malzahar can do, to kill those frontliners. You need everything you can get.
Also, you can see Blabber is stacking magic resistance here because the majority of the Kai'Sa damage and Ryze damage is all going to be AP. It's just the kind of the flat Olaf attack damage that he has to worry about. Little brush play has been set up, but Jensen finds them.
Right into Sneaky. They know people are around, but they're going to start kiting out of the jungle. Sneaky playing a bit aggressive, looks towards Pobelter. They're not going to find that kill just yet. But yeah, this is the sort of optimal power spike right now for C9, and I think Twitch just continues to grow farther and farther from here. Doublelift will have interesting tools to use like Azonia's later on, but Sneaky is now the better team fighter.
It is interesting to see, though, that Doublelift did not decide to go for the AD build here when it is that Ryze, who is mostly another AP threat. It does make the itemization, at least for Hecarim, fairly easy.
Here we go with Cloud9 trying to sweep out the vision on the top side. Team Liquid have been able to get their resets off. Actually, on the bottom side of the map, look at Impact behind the turret, farming minions in Licorice's face.
That's not singed, bud.
He's got the Warmogs. He can just back right up, and he's playing this tank very aggressively.
And part of this proxying that he's getting off is getting more and more damage down on the turret. So you can see Licorice going to tank it up to avoid that ranged minion chip on the turret. But the top turret is very, very low, straight up from that 1v1.
And there is a point in doing that. Now he's caught up by the whole team, though.
A lot of damage was Impact. Top skill, bit of flash forward. They've got that stop. This should be enough damage. The ulti committed for Sneaky gets that kill. Of course, top being pressured. As the Scion passive dies, it'll be a turret trade.
Impact a little bit too confident there. Walked into the whole team. Cloud9 take the turret, and they're not going to stop there.
They can keep going, and TL is going to base. We'll see if C9 wants to try to pressure this inhibitor turret as well. Probably can't do it, but could get vision around the Baron.
And that's where they're heading right now, straight up that side side of the map, knock down the blast cone if they need to, and right into the pit with their sweepers going, their control wards. And the inventory of 2 of them can get some of this back, and you can see them knocking on that vision right now. And then off the reset, off the gold they've just earned, got to make sure they don't get up that river back to TL.
From listening to a lot of the team comms for the listens in too, Impact is one of the big shot callers for those teams in rotation specifically, but he walks right into the rest of Team Liquid. Look at the vision on the map. They had not accounted for any of the members, and there you go. Twitch pops out, immediate Malzahar ultimate, and they don't hesitate to also jump in front of the Scion to block the ultimate and take down that kill.
But you can see how much it took them in a 5v1. They commit the Twitch ult, they commit the Braum ult, the Malzahar ult, the Braum has to flash in front of him, and that's what a 5v1.
Spoken like a true top laner, Azale. Ha! You gotta use all your summoners for me. You gotta use all your ultimates just for me.
And you just shake my head, Licorice. Couldn't 1v1. Well, Zeyzal has turned his flash into an exhaust for now, though, so still a 2-summoner Braum in this team fight. That's what that Keystone is for. It was still a decent spot for Cloud9 to be in. And that Baron pit, though, I want to talk about, as vision has been mostly cut away, but there's still more blue wards than red. So off that C9 reset, TL own most of that river.
And Zeyzal, maybe is expecting this to go late because he has been pretty proactively cycling with that Summoner's Spellbook through his abilities. He TP'd mid early on, uses the Ignite, now he's on the Cleansing Sauce, and he's going to be trying to get through fully. Once you've used 6 Summoners, the cooldown is significantly reduced, and you can start to get a lot of use out of that Keystone, so the longer the game goes, closer he'll get to it.
Waiting for next moves now on this map. 1 minute on the Cloud Drake respawn. The Baron still being fought over back and forth. There's a ward in the pit for C9 that has not been swept away, so no threats on this side, even though the rest of the river and now the northern jungle belongs to Liquid, as here comes Smithy topside, looks for Jensen. They're gonna flash in to break the passive. They find the slow. The root's gonna be there, turns back around the ultimate, but QSS keeps him safe. The kill comes through to Liquid. Now Blabber to re-engage for the Smithy, flashing away, staying alive. The Black Shield stops the Fear from doing anything, but Zeyzal on the front line, a gigantic Scion. 10,000 health on him, gonna easily walk away from this Twitch. The barrel chain finds the slow, but Devil's gonna rejoin the fight. It's 5v4 Liquid. Can they find the engage? They're going in for one. They've got Zeyzal looking for the first kill, not quite yet. Blabber holds the front line, Smithy tanky. They've got Sneaky. They got Blabber as well. A 2-for-0, 3 straight kills for Liquid.
And they were down 3,000 gold before that play, but the coordination from Team Liquid, they make it happen. Vision control all the way through their red quadrant of the jungle, and they find the pick. This could mean Baron.
Yeah, they have that Warmogs tank. The front line of TL stands strong, and they are onto the Baron. Licorice desperately trying to get over here, but I don't think there's much chance of a steal here. Smithy should be able to secure, but he doesn't actually have Smite yet. Looks like it's still in bullet. They might have to wait for it.
Licorice could be the hero. It's gonna be dangerous.
And they got that picked up. A nice barrel knocks down Ole. He was running at the team. They saw he was pushed out. They finally put in the rest of the damage. So Baron goes to TL with a couple of kills picked up.
Again, look at all these wards. Team Liquid have a clear path through the red quadrant of the jungle up to Jensen. Pobelter Realm Warp cuts him off. Then Smithy charges right forward with the Olaf, and they find the first kill.
Yeah, and Blabber not quite able to actually connect to Pobelter, just out of range of that Fear. Perhaps they could have chased forward onto it, but then look at how tanky this man is. Early stone plate, they're just tickling him.
Yeah, you can't damage him through the stone plate. He got in there so early, and then double lift Arise on the Kaisa. He goes all in. Ole using the flash that he saved previously to get the Morgana ultimate off and stopwatching. So he didn't die here, even though he does eventually in the Baron pit to Licorice's barrel.
Yeah, great team fight there from TL, and you can see it's going to need time for C9 to get those items to be able to really punch through the front line. And if either the Malzahar or the Twitch goes down early, you may not have the damage, period.
Previously to that, though, Cloud9 did had such a big gold lead that this play only brought it back to even. Now Team Liquid, though, they have a lot more to gain. Free Dragon for themselves if they control the map. Baron buff for another 2 minutes to get a lot more work done on the towers.
Those are nice pickups here, as it's a 600 gold lead for Liquid. The Baron buff still on for 2 minutes, and they're looking right now at bot lane tier 2. Impact, Ole, Smithy, and Doublelift all there with Bolter's Rise running across. Can Cloud9 defend this wave easily?
You can see some really big item completions coming through as well. C9 wants to look.
Ult on the Scion, trying to hard CC that champion, pulls him back in, pops the ult, trying to run away through Stoneplate. He's going to live, but that is a lot of health now lost by TL. That push is stopped in the bot lane, but they rotate to mid. That turret's not long for the world.
And Impact does have a Warbox, so as long as he doesn't get hit by a champion, he'll just regenerate all that hard work that Cloud9 just did and throw it out the window.
And out it went, and that was through the Infinity Edge that Sneaky has in his inventory just completed. That is a very tanky Psy, and mid lane goes down.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9 had the third item on all of their carries and wanted to look for a fight. IE got completed, Void Staff got completed, and the Storm Razor 4 GP, so they say, hey, we could fight now, but not enough damage to deal with Impact still.
Can't get through that super tank of Impact, who's been stacking grass all game long and is level 16 now.
They walk top side. C9 nowhere to be seen on this side of the map as top lane True 2 will fall as well. A couple of turrets now picked up off this Baron buff. That means that Team Liquid are now sitting at a sizable 2,500 gold lead as they pick up some more standing gold. 50 seconds left on the Baron buff, looking not too closely at the inhibitor turret bot lane, the only Tier 2 left available.
You can also see the experience lead starting to open up as some of these members have been in the side lanes. Double at 2 levels up over Sneaky right now on that Kai'Sa. And as you hit 16, it becomes so hard to take down this Kai'Sa with a massive shield from that ultimate.
Next up for TL. 25 seconds of the Baron buff. Sneaky alone to farm the top lane, but TL gonna make sure they can set up for bot lane now. Without Twitch, this is a fairly easy fight. 18 seconds in the buff, Sneaky far away, and here comes a push down towards this turret. Attacks coming in, they should not be too afraid of this, even though the ults are coming back up on that C9 side. Licorice is almost available. Turret goes to half HP, the wave gets put away, Cloud9 forces them out, losing only those. Now at Pobelter, he's gonna go in, it's gonna be the 1v1, but Sneaky running to help, pops the heal, now chasing in towards the rise. Licorice not gonna find the barrel slow, Pobelter able to walk away. Nice try by Sneaky, but loses his summoner heal.
And so often in the past, Team Liquid, Pobelter has been caught out while split pushing, but he fights his way out of this one, uses his Rise passive for the shield and speed to get away from 3 members moving over.
No magic resist there on Sneaky. Didn't want to commit the ultimate. So if you get hit by one combo from that Rise, it can be devastating. Does back off, and C9 do hang on, but TL certainly in the driver's seat for now. There's the Elder Dragon coming up next, and they're the ones who already have 3 dragons, which will make that buff very strong.
And there's a reason that Team Liquid go back to this strategy over and over again. It's because their 5-on-5 team fighting in the late game is so secure and very easy to execute. You mentioned the big shield that Doublelift can get with his ultimate. He also, in going the AP route, has the Zhonya's, plus has built a QSS for himself. In addition to having a Morgana shield, it's just so ridiculously difficult to kill that main damage source when a Scion is on the front line and takes 5 people's worth of DPS for upwards of 10 seconds.
That is all the time you need to cut through everyone else. A jungle Hecarim, not the same durability as a top lane. Sign has been farming well. Higher CS than his lane opponent. Still at this point in the game, Gangplank can't quite keep up there. Once again, Team looking towards the bottom side. This Tier 2 turret at 1/3 HP. Partial wave clear comes in. Zazel tries to find a slow, not going to get that one here. But Tia will not be able to push into the turret. The wave falls again.
And you can tell Cloud9 are looking for an opening because Team Liquid have split. Pobelter's on the top side, pushing in the side lane, but they just can't find a way past the Scion to open on a priority target.
And while I will say TL certainly in full control for it now, the longer the game goes, the more items this Twitch gets, there's always the potential of the one perfect fight. We've all seen it. Twitch gets an opening on your backline, 3 shots, they're all dead. And that is the potential that this champion can have when you hit that 5-6 item mark.
Exactly. A Twitch opener on top of a Gangplank barrel chain, that is a lot of burst damage. This is the Storm Razor's Gangplank build. He can get the fire of 3 barrels, try and get it to the back line. Same distance as the extended range for your Twitch ultimate, and that is enough to burst someone.
All right, now though, Sneaky down in levels, 2 underneath Doublelift, no rank 3 ultimate, none of those higher level stat increases from gaining extra experience there. So Sneaky actually a little behind the curve of maybe what you expect from a 34-minute Twitch, though still a very big threat with how much gold and how much XP Scion has. He might not chew through that champion.
And I think the critical moments here are going to be this next Baron, this next Elder. You have to feel if TL can secure those, they can close out this game. But if C9 can hang on, can delay those, or get them themselves, that may buy them enough time for that Twitch to hit the items he needs to take over.
Well, the timing is going to be about 30 seconds. The Baron Nashor spawning in 30. Elder Dragon in 38. This seems to be the next crux in this game. Doublelift solidly on 3 items, halfway towards death cap, has been very good this game, 2-1-1. Xmithie with an immaculate KDA as well has been crushing the jungle game and the vision game alike. Setting up for the Baron in 15 seconds. Now a bind in the front line. They might have gotten Zeyzal. They might just leave him to die. Pop steal. No, they will re-engage. Can they act on all? Not just yet to the stopwatch. Side of the front line. Sneaky still free. Hitting suppression comes across. They pick up one. Impact will not go down. They're starting to slaughter Team Liquid. Picking up kill after kill. Blabber slowed down. They're going to get the chase. Doublelift finds that one. It's only Licorice left alive. Running for dear life. 4 alive for Team Liquid.
So many low health bars there for TL, but Doublelift gets to the back line, takes out Sneaky, and they are pushing in here. They could knock down an inhibitor.
Warmarks are generating impact here. The front line is going to be strong. Licorice has to worry about them going for the game.
I think they're trying to close it out right now onto that first inhibitor turret. That's going to drop. Pavota TP's back in, and now the inhib itself. Zeyzal's alive, but the next respawns are 20 seconds away. A 2v4 is so hard when impact is invincible. Turret number 1 going to fall. Licorice would drop soon. Pop the stopwatch. Zeyzal holds the front line. A flash to stay alive. 8 seconds in the respawns. The second turret falls. They're on to the Nexus. Doublelift finds 2 more kills. The ace is in, and Team Liquid take game 1.
The defending champions take first Nexus here at the Oracle Arena in Oakland. And they will head back to the practice room feeling very good.
Such a strong performance here from TL. Very strong laning phase, constantly pushing the tempo of the game, securing neutral objectives, securing turrets, and playing so incredibly well around Doublelift and this win condition.
Well, great stuff out of Team Liquid. The whole time it was play around them. But Impact had a great laning phase himself, was definitely ahead of Licorice almost the entire time 1v1, was an absolute monster of a tank. Every single team fight, I thought his game was great. We already talked about Xmithie completely crushing the jungle the whole way through. Pobelter neutralizing Jensen, the split #1 mid laner, went completely equal there, arguably had better team fight, better roaming. Across the board, a great team.
So Team Liquid did have blue side for this game. They are probably going to switch. I would think that Cloud9 would want blue going into game number 2 and make some changes here. To me, the 2 biggest things were the Sion pick as well as the Kai'Sa pick that they might want to look to have a different impact in game number 2.
Yeah, that extra tank that can be a strong laner for Impact, adding that in really changes things up. This is not the Ornn getting bullied. He was the one in control, and I'm excited to see if C9 are even going to make subs. There's a potential of Svenskeren and Golden Glue coming in, but would C9 want to pull the trigger this early?
Oh, I didn't see anything really come out of Jensen or Blabber in this game. They were the ones that were losing in the TSM series, and the Swole Bros came in and win that one. So that was sort of similar to me, where I did not quite see that level of play I was expecting out of those 2. Either way, we'll see what happens. To hear more about Team Liquid's game 1 win, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'll take 4 more of those.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those were great.
Are you kidding me? What a game 1 to kick off the finals. Best of 5 here. Team Liquid, the defending champions, coming out on top, but it did not come easily for them. Multiple points within that game itself that the scales could have been tipped one way or the other.
And I think we were all excited about this draft, but at the end of the day, I'm not really happy with what C9 did. I actually don't think this works that well. You took so many greedy picks who want so much gold and time to ramp up that you're at such a deficit, and especially how they got there. Early picking the Twitch, allowing the Olaf to go over to me was a big mistake.
And I think they almost kind of got fortunate that Doublelift messed up in lane level 3 and got killed, so that Twitch was able to even have kind of a more of a farm lane. But yeah, the Olaf was a really big factor in this game. He was able to mark Blabber in almost every situation and then just not even let him get off.
Yeah, and I agree that it was a super greedy draft, but I also think for the first 25 minutes of the game, C9 played it really well. That's a game where you're expecting a 3-turret-to-0 deficit and potentially a couple of kills as well as the first 3 Drakes. And that's actually not what happened. So in that way, C9 played very well.
Yeah, I think the players deserve a ton of credit for the in-game performance. Draft aside, you see them finding pickoffs in these kinds of situations early on, which stops a lot of the power points that they should have.
This kind of reminds me similarly to the TSM series, where they were playing so well, but why are you picking these strange picks like Quinn? I mean, I think the Twitch this game was fine, but like Hecarim into Olaf is kind of strange, and then just overall 3 losing lanes just doesn't seem like a formula to win.
And they went down from 2K and made some really great plays to get it to even gold. And I think all of us were looking at that point kind of saying like, all right, C9 has gotten over the hump. They should be good. But then these plays start happening for TL. And that's why you know that this is going to be such a great series.
Yeah, the whole game, Jensen was in a really tough spot as the Malzahar because the Ryze had a QSS and the Olaf can go unstoppable. So he was never able to go anywhere safely. Even after he died, C9 decided to opt into a fight. Really interesting fight there where people got distracted and didn't see the Scion Q, and then this one ends up being the game decider.
Oh, very close fight here near the end. Impact, though, just playing an incredible front line for Team Liquid throughout the game.
I mean, back and forth, people were stepping up all over the place. You had Ole with a monstrous binding to buy enough time in that previous replay than the big ultimate. Here, he's a big distraction again as Jensen ults him.
And another auto attack from Sneaky may have killed 3 people in that fight. Like, that's how close this game was, because it was a fight in the mid lane with death timers the way they are. The winner of that fight, if it goes conclusively on one side, is the game. So that's 2 fights down the stretch where Sneaky got tagged by a 1 second plus charge Scion Q. He does have to play better in the next game.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you're on a pick like that. Of course, we saw Doublelift's stats flashed up on your screen. They are very much indexing into him with that Kai'Sa pick, the damage that's coming out, and the 1 death, just that level 3 death very early on that could have really bit them. I do want to roll ourselves back to one very specific moment in this game. Mark, I'm going to have you break this down for him because I don't think a lot of viewers would necessarily key into the impactfulness of a play made by a couple C9 members.
Right, this might look a little surprising when everything else that happened in the game, but I would argue this was one of the most important moments for C9 where TL were threatening a dive constantly around bot lane, and Jensen goes really aggressive, kind of face-checking and trying to work really hard to secure vision, and they bait a 2v2 in the jungle, which stops that potential 4-man dive in the bot lane and slows down TL's tempo in this entire game. And after this, nothing happens. They all go back. There's a gank attempt at topside. That doesn't work for TL. And then C9 eventually turn it around for a kill in the bot lane. And that is indicating to me how well these guys are playing, that they're understanding what is going to happen in this game. That was a potentially back-breaking play that they diverted by just forcing a lot of attention onto Jensen.
Yeah, that sequence of plays that we just took a look at happened at 1930. You can see just a slight gold advantage for Team Liquid at that moment in the game. But to your point, if C9 doesn't stem the bleeding right there, you could have just seen the gold graph skyrocket in favor of Team Liquid. The momentum really could have carried through. And it was those preceding minutes that C9 kind of clawed back into it.
And that's why I'm excited for the rest of this series, because this game did have a couple of breaking points like that one. And then later we then saw TL claw back, because before TL won those 2 team fights, I would say C9 had the advantage in the game and was most likely going to win it. And if it was not for Impact having such great tank play on Scion, with about 9,000 health with Stoneplane active in the mid game, and the CC lock from those Qs onto Sneaky, TL doesn't win this game.
Yeah, you see that damage chart. It's C9 does almost twice as much damage as TL, but it's all into that beefy Scion that they're not able to actually kill.
Now, Jay, you said you're excited for the rest of this series. I got some news for you. C9 is subbing in. Golden Glue and Sven scaring straight after the first game. They have also chosen to stay on red side. So they're going to take some of their learnings from the first game and they're going to apply them to game 2. My question is, what are the learnings?
I think it's actually going to be a completely different game plan. I'm not sure how much there's directly to take, because staying on red side to me says we're going to counterpick really hard around mid lane, most likely to try and abuse Pobelter. Was what they did in the regular season to pick up a win against TL. And I think they are going to it earlier and often here because they don't want to fall down into a hole against a stronger opponent than they faced in TSM.
And my guess is it's more to do with them thinking Blabber didn't play well, and the fact that their junglers and mid laners are essentially linked. So they want Sven Skaren in. And I think I look at the Hecarim in that game and the way they lock it in when there's so many tank picks up, they're thinking, okay, we want to give the most inexperienced player on our roster a comfort pick, but he still had very low impact in that game. The draft was not putting him in a great situation, but he had low impact in the mid game, in the late game, and they want Sven.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where I don't know whether to get more upset at Blabber or Reaper for having that Hecarim pick in there, because if you're going to go full tank, which he did because it was all magic damage, then pick a real tank. Don't pick a bruiser in the jungle who wants a lot of gold and becomes a threat. You make yourself useless, but you're hard to kill.
I think the idea for him was definitely to like pop off and have a lot of kills as Hecarim so he could build Triforce, but Xmithy just read him like a book at every step. I mean, Xmithy is just always clearing his vision, always marking him for ganks. And I mean, this is what happens when you have, probably the best LCS jungler Nick Smithy versus a veteran or a rookie.
It was something you pointed out roughly 13 minutes into the game, what Smithy does, and noting his vision score as compared to anyone else in the game, his ability to know when to invade safely, that's the key, safely invade, drop the wards, track the opposing jungler, and having his greatest impact in a lot of ways being just preventing action from the opposing team as to creating it necessarily himself.
Right. I mean, there's just so many things within that draft that mattered, because if it's the Olaf on your team, suddenly you can potentially pick on the jungler with the Malzahar. When it's an Olaf, he presses R and runs away. There were a couple tense 2v2s that broke out that Smithy, knowing that he has all these tools to get out, could go for vision so aggressively.
The last thing I want to tackle here is, again, with this substitution coming in, the last time we saw them pick apart TL, it was with that focus towards the mid lane. Onto Pobelter, it was Lee Sin, Syndra. You had the Jatstat Syndra undefeated in NALCS finals. But there's a degree of fear here, at least from where I'm coming up, that you've telegraphed what your plan is. If you put in these guys who you've employed a specific strategy to beat this team with prior, should TL not be prepared upon hearing this substitution and at least protect Pobelter from that attack?
TL is definitely prepared for Golden Glue and Svenskeren in the fact that they will most likely throw a ban at Lee Sin in phase 1 or phase 2. Maybe more likely to see in phase 2 if they're holding the jungle pick. But if I'm C9, I'm not afraid to play Syndra Lee Sin again, because that was so effective for you, and they've proven that they can do it. These guys getting even more confidence from Reaper now, putting them in after the first game.
Maybe that's the game plan, is just to psych out TL into over-protecting mid lane.
Oh, right. And then they just put him on Malzahar again.
Malzahar mid again, yeah. I can do something like that. The Malzahar Graves in the TSM series was really effective, and I think you might see something like that.
Well, the Swole Bros take to the stage in front of cheers from the crowd here in Oakland. We've got to take a quick break. I want